What's good, people? At the time of this here voice recording, it is day 2 of Vigor Season 19. And let me tell you, there's just been a lot going on. A lot going on. And if you want to see my initial reaction to Season 19, then go to this channel and you'll find 2 streams entitled Pleasure and Pain. So go to that channel and check those 2 streams out because that is literally my initial reaction. But when it comes to offline gameplay, we're not quite at Season 19 just yet. We're not quite there. So I'm going to ask you to put your mind in your hand, if you can, and just turn back the clock. Because I know as of right now, y'all are pretty much like, 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks into Season 19, but just go back in your brain for about like a month, and that's when this game was played. So you're looking at my back and you're thinking to yourself, Jet, is that a G3 I see? Yes, it is. Yes, it is a G3. And people, I overlooked this gun, as most players would, right? But here's one thing that I never really thought about. This thing's ammunition, as well as the SG-1, M82 L96 ammunition. This ammunition hurts. Bad. Right? But the G3 itself is terrible because of the recoil. The kickback, if you will. Now, just imagine if this thing did not have recoil. Imagine. It would be broken, wouldn't it? Now, how do you solve the recoil problem? Well, that's simple. You get up close range and gun them down. Just like how some madmen would do with an M21. And by the way, an M21 and a G3 both share the same ammunition. So, if we can do it with an M21, why can't you do it with a G3? You heard that? No, I'm not going to go kill somebody. That's what I usually do whenever I turn off my voice, if you will. But you heard that, right? If you didn't hear that, let me tell you what you should have heard. A Luger. That's what I heard, all the way behind me. So I'm going to turn around and go back here and try to find the guy who shot the Luger. But it was only a bullet, so maybe it was a mistake shot, if you will. Some new player jitters, if you want to call them that. So check the map and I realize both of the safes are right next to each other. Now, which seems like the more attractive option? Running to the top of the map to find one guy with a pistol, or run to the center of the map where both loot events are right next to each other? I mean, you don't even got to answer that question. Look what I'm doing right now. And I'm going to take a slowdown pill, if you will. Look at the comm station, see if it comes on cooldown. And it don't. Time is of the essence, and this match is very early. But also, the safes have not been hit yet. Which makes sense, the match is still early. Which also makes all of the more sense when this happens. My objective switched from eliminate Outlander to deal with it, Because when I shot that guy, well, not that guy, when I shot, well, the guy that was on the first floor, the guy up top heard me. He had to be deaf not to hear me. But he did, right? So I couldn't sneak up on him. I didn't have the element of surprise, none of that. You know what I'm saying? So I had to deal with him knowing where I'm at. That's what the objective is called. Deal with it. And that is a rifle in my left ear. Noted. So look, in these kind of scenarios, right? I'll tell y'all, if you didn't hear that guy, he would have died. That would not have applied to this here situation. And let me tell you why I think that. Let me tell you why. He didn't open the window, nor like run upstairs and look out the window until I turned around. I feel like if I just would have walked away, he wouldn't have shot at me, nor opened a window, nor ran upstairs, right? That's what I feel like. So, I get ported. Alright, screw everything I just said. I get ported. Momentary panic ensues, but then here comes the logic train. It would make sense for me to get ported, wouldn't it? I'm right between the timed safe and the barred house. Of course someone's going to want to know who's nearby. Of course someone wants to know, am I going to get shot at if I do this really risky thing, aka interact with a loot event? Of course I'm going to get ported, right? So even though they knew, as in KNEW, they knew where I was, they don't know where I am, and they also don't know that I'm no longer there, right? All they did was tell me, I'm afraid, I want to make sure that there's nobody nearby before I do something. The only question is, what is that something? It's a 50-50 shot, you know what I'm saying? Both safes are right next to each other, so he has to be nearby. He has to be, because why else would he port? And I'm pretty sure during this here season there's a glitch where the red chest is to my left near the river. Thought I heard somebody right here, but I don't. There's a the red chest always spawns near the river on like to the left in front of Blue House, like on the coast of the river. Shout out Odigo for telling me that. Maybe he's over there. Maybe he is. But, like I said, he ported for a reason. All I gotta do is figure out what is that reason. But you see, maybe it's not up to me to figure it out, right? Y'all see that, right? The tower. It was activated. You see that, right? I'm pointing out to y'all because that's going to matter a lot in terms of my next move. This guy had a bugle and a crappy shotgun with an M1911. Do I think this was the guy that ported me? I mean, maybe. It would make sense. He was going for the safe after all.
Get ready.
And let me tell y'all something. The best way to open a timed safe is to find 2 buttons first, then hit them both. Don't hit one button and then try to find a second one. Because by the time you find a second one, the first one's going to reset itself. And you're going to let everyone in the match know, hey, I'm near the timed safe. Again. And I keep telling y'all this, but it's not who shoots first, it's who sees who first that determines most gunfights, right? When I say most, I mean most. Hostile bushes not included. But yeah, the tower was hit, right? And the tower is somewhere on this side of the map. But before I go investigate said tower, you see I'm looking at these bridges and I'm thinking to myself, am I going to get sniped at? Well, if I were to get shot at, it'll be right about now. Because I'm in an open stretch of road. Do y'all see that? That white door is open. Huh. It's almost like someone just ran through there. Now I'm on my guard because that one door is open.
So you are a killer. Can you stay alive now when you are a threat?
As a new player, you perform actions that you don't think twice about. And that's okay, because, you're a new player. You gotta learn eventually and at some point, right? But the best way I can describe leaving doors open, it's like a bread trail. You're leaving a trail behind, and all someone has to do is follow the path of open doors, and eventually, they'll find you. Now, I'm not saying that this guy in particular opened the door. I'm not saying that. Although it could be that case, right? All I'm saying is, if that door was not open, I would not have slowed down and just double checked my surroundings. It was with that amount of time that I slowed down that guy with an 870, granted he took off half my health, that's when I heard him. If I didn't take that amount of time to slow down, I would not have heard him. So, whoever left that door open, thank you. Now I'm a threat. So check this out. Do you see my threat icon at the top of your screen? See how it's flashing red and white? It stopped. You see that, right? Let me tell you what that means, because I never understood what that meant until someone explained it to me on stream. Your reward for being a threat is knowing whether or not you're alone. When a threat icon is flashing, it's like a caution sign. It's a caution sign saying, hey, you're not alone. It's flashing. But when it's steady white or steady red with no flashing, you're alone. And I just gave you the proof because I used the port and nobody was around. So I found the buried cache, you know what I'm saying, and I came home safely. Well, you would expect that because there's no one else around. But is there anything to learn from this here video? Well, this game can be anxiety inducing. Hell, that's this game's party gift, right? But I'll just say this. Before you panic, or at least get all your panic out of your system quickly, but then use your brain. This just happened. Why did this happen? And 99% of the time, there's someone behind that something that happened. And if you can try to figure out what that player's action is and why they performed it, then you'll have the upper hand. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Until then, peace.